The following program contains coarse language and of course spoilers.
I've heard your voice thousands of times.
It's Mando one day with Sky Tinley. It's Mando one day with Sky Tinley.
Season finale, episode 8, The Rescue.
Hells yeah.
It was pretty cool. What were your initial thoughts on it?
It was like a small child at Christmas time watching that episode. Yeah, it was so good. Didn't know what was going to happen. Managed to avoid spoilers because I didn't watch it like right away, so that was nice. Yeah, it was insane. It was such a great episode. There was so much going on in it.
I thought they have 8 episodes to tell the entire story of the season, so there isn't really room to go to a casino planet for like 30 minutes. The season finale was like, we're going to go do this. Okay, let's go do this. And then, bam, there's no overstaying the setup of it.
Yeah.
Like, taking so long to set it up. It was just like probably within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought Slave 1 taking down that shuttle Tidarian at the beginning with the ion cannon was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It reminded me of the video game Star Wars Empire at War, where it's like a strategy game, so you can use like an ion cannon on ships and stuff, and it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, they do that a lot in like the games now too. In Star Wars Squadrons, the new one, you can equip ion cannons to your ships when you're fighting. So other than like blowing them up, you can like damage them. So and like if you get damaged by it, you're sitting in the cockpit, and then like you just see everything start sparking, and then your ship stops.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh no.
So you've been playing Squadrons?
I have been, yeah.
That's dope.
It's hard, man.
How so?
Because it's not. Remember.
The only games I've played as far as like airplanes or like ships is Star Wars Starfighter and then Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. That's all the experience I have.
Okay, so you never played like TIE Fighters or X-Wings when you were a kid on the computer?
Oh yeah, like I think I played Star Wars. See, I had this LucasArts 8 CD pack that had like Rebel Assault 2, TIE Fighter, Dark Forces, so I might have played some of them.
Okay. It's kind of like TIE Fighter, where it's more of a flight. It's more of a flight sim than anything else.
Okay.
Like there's combat and stuff in it, but like it's focused heavily like on like actually controlling your ship well. So like you could control the intensity of your blasters, you could control like your deflector shields, you control your engines.
Oh, cool.
So like it which is awesome, but it makes it so hard to play. So I'll be flying around, and then like you've got to slow your thrusters down, and then like you've got to be able to like turn your ship left and right, like the pitch and the yaw. But then you can still like you've got to control like your ship, like it can like do 360s and stuff, and you've got to like dip around like obstacles, and then still like manage to lock on a guy and fire. So there's a lot going on.
Now, when you say do 360s, are you referring to what Poe does in The Last Jedi, where he like slams on the brakes, quote unquote brakes?
Oh yeah, you can do that
and
too,
then he does like a 360.
You can do air brakes and like drifting and whatnot. I'm like talking about like barrel rolls and such.
Oh, okay.
Flip it upside down without like moving your ship, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, but it also makes it like the controls took a minute to learn, but it's awesome though.
See, I could see that being a better gameplay experience, because sometimes when you play those types of games, you get like screwed over sometimes by how the ships move. Whereas with this, if you learn how to do it well, you can fly your ship in different ways in different situations, so you don't run into that problem.
Exactly, and there's like training, like a training ground you can go and do, and it's all online too. So there's people that are just going to like be good at it right off the hop, because just people have nothing else to do in these days but play video games all the time. So some people are magicians on it already, where I don't have to touch all the time. So I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then I get killed a bunch. Like, okay, this isn't fun anymore, and I don't want to play.
Yeah.
Right. Take my ball and go home.
What time period is it set in?
Oh Lord, I think it takes place just after Jedi. I think.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I think so.
So like Mandalorian, basically.
I think so.
Because what I believe is happening is a lot of what they're doing as far as the games and the TV shows and like straight to streaming movies is the period between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, where it's like the new Republic is being set up.
Okay.
You're like Rangers of the New Republic, although the Bad Batch is about after the Clone Wars and the Order 66, but there's a couple of shows that take place like in Mandalorian time period and as the New Republic's being set up. So that's pretty cool. I don't have a PS5 or a new Xbox, so I don't.
I'm still just playing on my PS4.
Oh, so you can play Squadrons on PS4?
Yep, it's on PS4.
Oh, okay. I guess if you download games, they can like have different versions or whatever.
Well, this one came out before the PS5 came out, this game.
Oh, I thought it was like a PS5 launch title.
No. That's, which one was it? SpiderMan Miles Morales was a launch one, and some other game. There's a few of them, but a lot of the games, too, like if you buy them now, like newer games, or old ones, they'll also like automatically port them over to your PS5, so you buy the PS4 version, and it also comes with the PS5 version. So
that's cool.
So you can still play them. I know there's backwards compatibility on it, but I don't know what they've done with it yet. I don't have a PS5 yet. It's too fucking expensive. But I'll get one day. My ship will come in.
Pun intended.
Right?
Love it. So yeah, they take down the shuttle Tydirian with the ion cannon, and they board the ship to kidnap the doctor, that cloning scientist or whatever. And I love the shot to the face of that guy holding him hostage.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, bah! But I like what that officer said before that. He called them terrorists, which, from a certain point of view, to quote Obi-Wan, they are terrorists, basically.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
According to the Empire. It's like...
Yeah.
So it's sort of a cool gray area, even though from our point of view, it's like they're the heroes and the Empire is bad. But from the Empire's point of view, they're like a thorn in their side. They're terrorists.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like, I remember when I watched The Walking Dead, and I still do, and it comes back in February. But it's like, how far have you seen into The Walking Dead?
I watched up until, spoiler alert to people that haven't watched it, up until when Glenn gets brained, and then I'm done.
Yeah, my former brother-in-law said that. He said, I stopped reading the books when Glenn got killed. And
the books are still way better than the show.
Oh, was
reading the... Yeah.
Totes, bro.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of people who said just exactly what you said. When they meet the Saviors and Glenn and Abraham get killed, they stopped watching. I'm like, why? Why would you stop? Because I guess a lot of people were pissed about it, right?
I knew it was going to happen, but also, like, I was really into that show for the longest time, and then it just started getting drier and drier, and there's so much of, like, nothing going on in that show.
Oh, last season was fantastic.
Oh, yeah? I haven't watched it in so long. Maybe I might pick it up again. I don't know.
They have recaps on YouTube. That's what I did. Because of what was going on at the time in my life, I didn't really have the opportunity to watch, and I didn't really want to. And then when I started watching it again, I'm like, well, I have 2 seasons that I've missed. So I went on to YouTube and was like, season so-and-so recap. And then I was ready to go when they came back. But my point is, one of the creators of the show, I think it was Robert Kirkman, who said, imagine if The Walking Dead started from the point of view of the Saviors. Then Rick's group would be considered the bad guys.
Yes.
So it's like this in The Mandalorian. From the Empire's point of view, they're terrorists. And
Yeah.
I like the bar fight between... I don't really remember her name because I didn't watch the Clone Wars. But
Bo-Katan?
Bo-Katan, yeah.
Yeah.
When her and her friend, or I guess colleague...
Scrap with Boba?
Scrap with Boba. And he's like, I've heard your voice many times. And like, you're a clone. And they just start beating the shit out of each other. That was pretty dope.
Yeah. I like that he doesn't make apologies for what he is, too.
Yeah. It's like,
He's just
yeah,
like,
I'm a clone. Whatever.
Still better than you are. Better Mandalorian than you are.
Yeah, for sure. That TIE fighter launch scene was pretty cool. You got to see a little bit in the Force Awakens and other sequel trilogy movies. You got a little bit of taste of how they run to their TIE fighters and like fly off. But in here, you got to see actually how like they're lowered and launched out. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's nice to see like the working, like the ins and outs of it all, which people can just like nerd out about.
Oh yeah, like the super nerds who it's like, oh, I love the sound. And
yeah, oh yeah, it's great.
And then they crashed the shuttle Tidarian into the bay. That was funny.
And then just start wrecking everybody.
Just open the door and just start shooting people. I kind of sometimes feel bad for the stormtroopers because it's like,
oh man,
fuck.
Right? I was saying that too when we were watching it here. I was like, oh man, it's like they really like humanized the stormtroopers, and I feel real bad about it when they die.
I forget which magazine
like,
it was.
Like, oh! Now they're just like, oh god, no!
Or when they fall into like the lava on one of the earlier episodes, or over the waterfall. It's like, ah!
Yeah. I feel so bad for them. It's like, oh no.
It's funny that you mentioned humanizing, because I like in Rogue One where it's like, hey, so did you hear the T-15 is like rendered obsolete? He's like, oh, it's about time. It's just like water cooler talk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, they did that in like the new movies too. Like when you hear all like, the stormtroopers, like even just like you hear like that. It's not just men. There's women too. Like you hear them all getting shot and killed. And they're like, no, they're all just dying.
Or when
like, oh, no.
when Kylo is throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
And they back up. They're like, "Oh, we'll just come back later."
We'll go this way.
We'll go this way. Speaking, you had mentioned females too in stormtroopers and stuff like that. I never noticed this because we didn't have any context, but now looking back, it's pretty cool. Captain Phasma has the Beskar spear.
Oh, does she?
I believe someone pointed it out, and does the Beskar spear retract, or is it just like a long, like single piece spear?
I think it's like a single piece spear, that one.
Because someone pointed out, it's like Captain Phasma has a spear. Is it the same spear? Which would tie in these movies and TV shows into the new movies.
It's a Quicksilver baton.
A Quicksilver. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, it's not Beskar then, so.
No, not Beskar, no. But it's still
that was a pretty cool theory.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
it would
now.
Sense. I think part of the because her armor is like all shiny and shit. I think her armor is made from, and this is what I heard, I could be wrong again, was made from like part of the Emperor's old like Naboo ship. Because remember how like all Naboo's like ships
are all
like,
shiny, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where her armor is made from. Like from the hull of a like a Naboo starfighter or something like that.
Amidala's ship.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was like a J-13 Nubian or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So they get on to the Star Destroyer and wreak havoc, and then the Dark Troopers get activated, which is really cool because they're attached to power cores and they have to power up. Which I thought was kind of cool because it reminded me of umbilical cords.
Oh yeah, a little
sort
bit,
of like they're infants and they need the cords to charge up and come alive. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of umbilical cords. That's pretty dope. And then they get launched into space, out the airlock. But
Yeah.
as that happened, I nudged my dad. I'm like, they're coming back.
Oh yeah. It's like you can't
Let's just temporarily stop them. They'll be back.
Yeah, you can't just kick them out a window, man. They're robots. They don't need air.
When they're designing them, it's like, what if they get like thrown out into space? Oh, that never happened.
That won't happen. Yeah, but what if they do? It's like, all right, how about for you? We'll put rockets on them so they can fly back.
Let's all do it for Johnson, everybody. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But I didn't expect that Moff Gideon was going to be there with Grogu, like with the darksaber to his face or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
That was pretty dope. And then he I like how there's sort of a gray area with Mando, because he sort of was talking about making a deal with Moff Gideon. It's just like, you can take the kid, like we already got. Well, he's not really a kid. He's like 50 years old, but he's like,
yeah,
we already got what we want from him.
Yeah.
Just I keep the saber and you
Yeah.
take this kid and we're good. And
Yeah.
he was considering it, and then they started fighting, which was a pretty cool fucking fight. The dark saber and the Beskar spear, which somebody pointed out. It might have been you or somebody on Instagram or something. It's like, oh, does anybody think there's going to be a fight between Gideon and Mando with the saber and the Beskar spear? And bam, that's exactly what happened.
Well, I thought it was going to be pretty obvious. I think anyone that has been paying attention would know that was going to happen. So
yeah, it was still pretty cool, even though it was expected. It was awesome.
We all wanted to see it. We're just glad it happened.
Yeah. So then, naturally, the troopers come back.
Yes, like we all knew they would.
And then, so he brings Moff Gideon. So Mando wins the fight, and he brings Gideon to the bridge, and Bo-Katan and Mando's friend, who's a ranger now.
I know. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Cara Dune or something Dune.
No, or wait, which one? Ming-Na Wen's character or the other?
No. Mando's friend.
Oh yeah, Cara Dune. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cara Dune's there. Bo-Katan.
And Ming-Na Wen.
And yeah, who's with Boba Fett. Yeah. Even though Boba Fett fucked off into Lightspeed and he's off doing something.
Well, it's a good thing he did too.
Because we'll talk about it a little bit later, but at the end credits after them,
you know what's crazy?
She must have reconnected with Boba like some point after.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I didn't watch the end credit scene.
I didn't even know there was one until somebody pointed it out, like on TikTok or Instagram. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta check that out.
I know, I still haven't watched it yet. I have.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't spoil it for you then.
Okay, I have the episode playing in the background right now.
Oh, okay. Where are you at?
Oh, just at the beginning. I just turned it on as we started. So, but I'll watch it after though. But yeah, I saw something online about like, oh, there's Bib Fortuna. It's like, oh, okay, and then I haven't gone back to it yet.
Yeah,
I think I imagine I know what happens, but it's still.
Well, because there's another show coming out that they didn't mention during the Disney launch, but they announced it like last week or the week before.
Yeah.
And it looks like a pretty cool show. And Filoni and Favreau are like executive producers. So,
oh yeah.
What?
Man, those guys. Oh man, it's crazy. Just like the
they're
work
the
that
saviors.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so crazy. Just like how well they've done with it. Like here's the Star Wars you want.
Yeah.
You didn't know you wanted this, but you want it, and now we're all like, yeah,
you're right.
We all want this forever. Keep it coming, please.
For sure. I got into, I don't want to say a fight. I got into a pretty cool intellectual discussion with my friend Marty, because he badmouthed The Last Jedi, and I actually like The Last Jedi. And on my YouTube, I think it was like the first video I posted on YouTube. It's called "That's Right, I'm Defending The Last Jedi."
It was good. I liked it. I
liked it a lot because of how different it was. It introduced new ideas, and I understood the theme of the movie that Rian Johnson was trying to do. But Marty had good points. He was like, well, I didn't like how Luke threw the saber over his shoulder, and they broke tradition, and the whole Leia, Superman flying back into the ship thing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. He just thought it went into a direction that sort of wasn't Star Wars-y. It was too off canon.
I don't think that's accurate, though.
How so?
Because if you look at, just, the Jedi in general, they all go into exile and start whining when things don't go their that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't go the way I wanted to. Boo. So Luke throws his lightsaber over and gets all bitchy about it. And that's I'm not kidding you.
They're the emo kids of the galaxy.
Essentially, it's they, as soon as, shit doesn't go, they're losing a chess game, so they knock the chessboard over.
Yeah.
And they're going, fine, and no stop. And then that's it.
Yoda goes to Dagobah. He's like, I'm just gonna go hang out in a swamp. Yeah.
With all this. And then fucking Obi-Wan takes off. He's like, I'm gonna go to Tatooine and watch this kid grow up. And then fucking Luke's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna go to this planet and fuck off too. Woo.
Yeah. But I understood some of the points he was making, and I'm like, that's cool, dude. That's fine. I'm not gonna fight with you about it. But
no. People that get militant over this shit is silly. I am under the belief that people don't know what they want. All they want is fan service. They don't want stories. They want they want their fucking fan theories to be true.
Well, in the video I posted on YouTube, I said people bitched and complained that The Force Awakens was too much like A New Hope, and they wanted something different and new. And then Rian Johnson came around and gave that to them, and they still bitched.
Exactly.
It's like, it's too different.
Yeah, it's too. No, this isn't this is too much like the same. Oh, it's too different from the same.
Yeah. So
people are dumb. They don't know what they want.
I thought Rise of Skywalker was pretty good though, because it sort of was a half fan service, half something new. Which JJ was. And here's something I wanted to run by you, because the more I think about it, I wonder if Palpatine being in the picture was something that they had all along an idea for, and here's how I think that might be. So you know how Palpatine says to Kylo, I am Snoke, or I made Snoke. I made Snoke.
Yeah.
Clones are made to follow orders. So Snoke could have easily been programmed as a clone to do whatever Palpatine or Sidious instructs him to do. In a manner in which Sidious wants him to do. And so here's the smoking gun. In The Last Jedi, Snoke makes Rey watch the fleet getting destroyed. And that's exactly what Sidious did with Luke in Return of the Jedi. He made him watch out the window at the fleet being destroyed. So that pretty much is a giveaway that Sidious was controlling it all along, because he did the same thing with Rey. It's like his MO, basically. He gets off on people watching. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's right. Spit in her mouth.
I'll take a dump on her chest. What?
Okay.
Good.
I think you need to calm down there, Sheev, just a little bit. Take a breather. But what were you gonna say?
What was I gonna say now? I got distracted by the dump on the chest.
Palpatine being in the picture all along, that he controlled Snoke and stuff like that.
Fuck. Oh Lord, I've lost it. Continue on whatever you thought.
So
it's gone.
Where was I going with that?
We got distracted by gross.
Oh yeah. So JJ came around and did the Rise of Skywalker, and I thought it was good because it was half fan service, half new stuff, like the dyad of the Force, and so that was pretty cool. But
yeah.
So obviously, before I jump into the big reveal at the end of the episode, there was probably a good 3 to 5 minutes where I was just shouting at the television, "Would somebody get the gun away from Gideon?"
Yeah. No.
The audience are the only people who know that Gideon has a gun. It's just get it away from him. And eventually they did, but Mando jumped in front of the shot to save Grogu. and then Gideon got what was coming to him. But I wonder what they're gonna do with him. Oh yeah, another theory. I think what they're trying to do is create Snoke, because Snoke is a clone who has Force abilities. So they're using Grogu's blood, because it has a high midichlorian count, to create Snoke, basically. Originally, I thought it was like a half Stormtrooper, half Force user, but I'm pretty sure it's Snoke.
Yeah, that would make sense that it would be.
And then it would connect to the first movie of the sequel trilogy, so...
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I hope it is that, because it would make, like you said, total sense. So
I can also see them going totally left on it too and doing something way different. Like, who knows what they'll do. That's the beauty of this new stuff. You think it's going to go one way, and then they surprise you with it.
Well, apparently in the Clone Wars, there's a whole, like, alternate universe or something that Ahsoka and Ezra traveled to. It's like a world between worlds or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's like the edge of the galaxy, and it's like the space between one reality and another reality. And someone was like, well, that might give them the opportunity to retcon the entire sequel trilogy because it's a different reality. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't pull fucking Avengers shit.
Well,
and that's the Star Wars.
They do that kind of stuff in Star Trek all the time too. Like, they don't.
Oh yeah, the new movies did that.
About Star Trek on our Star Wars podcast, but yeah, it's such a cop out.
Yeah.
God,
even though it makes total sense, like as far as the science of science fiction of the butterfly effect. Spock fucked up something and it changed the timeline and things turned out differently. You can write whatever you want to write. Makes sense, but it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's a huge cop-out. I don't want to say it's lazy writing. But
I don't think it's lazy writing. It just solves a problem. It's like, okay, say for example, we want to do a new trilogy. Maybe it's the one that George Lucas is interested in doing, which is cool in theory, but unnecessary, I think. Because then it just means the last three movies were nothing. You just throw them away.
But I did hear already done that when Disney bought Star Wars. There's been like years and years and years and years and years of canon that's just gone.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was actually just talking about this with someone at work. We have people like that kind of like watch. They screen people as they come in. Like they screen like visitors and they screen like employees and stuff when they come in to make sure no one's sick.
COVID. Yeah.
So the guy was. I was just doing our screening thing, and then I was about to walk away, and I saw he had a Star Wars book.
Ooh. And
I was like, "Oh, what book are you reading?" And he told me, I forget which one said it was. Like, "Oh, when was that one written?" And he was like, "Oh, this one was written like in '94." Oh, man, I think there's so much stuff that just doesn't exist anymore now because of like Disney. And he's like, "Yeah, I know." It's like, but it's still really good. It's like, right? It's like, I'll still read them. And like Disney's doing great things with Star Wars still, and I hate to admit that because they're such a big money hungry corporation, but they're doing so well. But yeah, I was like, just so much old Star Wars canon that's like just that doesn't mean anything anymore, and it makes me sad. Although I think, not to ramble, I think that like God, why am I blanking on his name? God, that's doing Mandalorian now. Good Lord, I'm tired.
Dave Filoni?
Yeah, and
John Favreau.
Fuck me, wow, embarrassing for me. Edit that part out.
Okay. John
Favreau. 1, 2, 3. John Favreau.
And go.
Yeah. No, leave it in. I'm awful.
Okay.
But I
John
think they're.
Favreau,
I think that they're saving a lot of the canon. I think too. Like, they can't save it all, but I think they'll like introduce like some of the old canon into the new stuff. I'm hoping. Because I don't know. That's just what my hope is. Like, because a lot of it, I don't even know what I'm basing this off. Because none of this has really got like old canon feels, but I feel like they could. Because they're gonna run out of ideas eventually.
Yeah.
So and then you can, hey, let's dip into like this old stuff that we had before.
Yeah, but they might also back themselves into a corner because they wrote something different and that they can't use certain ideas from the old canon. It's like, well, no, that wouldn't make sense anymore. But the new movies and the TV shows, they might not have exactly what was in the old canon, like Mara Jade or Kyle Katarn, or they have Thrawn, which is cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I was basing it on, because of Thrawn. Yeah, like he's old school. He's old canon.
Yeah, and there's like Darth Revan. But what I was gonna say is, it might not have all of this stuff from the old canon, but there's that sort of feel of it. Like the new trilogy is about like the next generation. So like Rey, in essence, is like a Mara Jade.
Essentially,
yeah. But and Kylo is like a villain. But so the ending of the episode of Mando, an X-wing shows up. And I like how Grogu can sense it. Grogu just like turns his head. He's like, "What? I feel something."
Yeah, oh, I know what this is.
I know what this feels like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you your opinion first. What was your opinion of the last sequence of the show? And it's not really a spoiler, even though it is a spoiler for those who are listening, but that's why I have a warning at the beginning of the episode. It was Luke. Luke showed up.
Yeah.
As soon as you saw the X-wing, you know it was Luke.
Absolutely, you did.
Yeah. So I'll let you. What was your impression of that sequence and it being Luke?
I knew it was going to be Luke. Yes. I was. I sat upright on my couch. I sat on the edge of the couch, just a big smile on my face, watching Luke come through and just taking out all kinds of stormtroopers the way you wanted to see him do it. Like he did all the things that you wanted to see him do in The Last Jedi, essentially.
Yeah, like his force abilities and his fighting style have improved. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, and just he's force choking guys, he's crushing dudes and they're like,
oh yeah,
and their stuff, and it's just like, oh, look at him beheading these robots like they're nothing, and just taking out everybody, and just super calm about it. He's crazy, sure of himself, and he's like, you know what? I'm a Jedi Master, and this is everything. Everything's gonna work out well for me. Yeah, he has the air of a Jedi that's been doing it for years, even though he's so new into it still.
If I had to guess, I'd say The Mandalorian is 3 to 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Ish.
I thought it was 6 years or something like that.
Yeah, around, not too far after.
Yeah, less than 10 years.
Because
ahead.
He looked exactly like he looked in Return of the Jedi. He's wearing the black.
Yeah.
His face, the way that he did his face is pretty similar, so it has to be less than 7, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It was, not a lot of time has gone by. But yeah, it was really awesome. What a great scene.
Yeah. It was cool that R2 showed up, too. I like that part. It was like a fucking R2. Nice. Because R2 was, non-existent in the sequel trilogy, basically. Except for maybe The Last Jedi. That was a cheap trick or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was asleep for the fucking whole entirety of Force Awakens. It's oh, he hasn't been working in years, BB.
Yeah, he's only on standby power. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
And then he just all of a sudden starts up again, oh no, I can save the day and stuff like it's just. But so I was happy to see him pull up in this one. Pretty good looking Luke. The CGI of Luke was good.
Yeah, they did a great job with them. They did a really good job of him.
Yeah, the mouth movements were still kind of weak, I thought. The speech, it didn't sync up that well. But
no, but one does what one can.
Yeah. Mark Hamill thought it was awesome.
Yeah, he loved it apparently. About it. I just fast forwarded to the scene where Luke comes back now. and he's taking out all these dark troopers.
Mm-hmm. And then when Mando has to say goodbye to Grogu, like he takes his helmet off in front of everybody, which a lot of people pointed out, which I agree with, was very reminiscent of when Luke takes Vader's helmet off at the end of Return of the Jedi. He's like, let me see you with my own eyes instead of from this helmet.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that way, it's just like, hey, I trust you and love you. Here's my face.
Yeah.
I don't show it to many people.
Mm-hmm. And so Grogu goes off with Luke, and presumably to be trained. And unfortunately, a lot of people pointed out, well, does Grogu get killed by Kylo then? Or it's much later after The Mandalorian, so Grogu would have to have been older.
Yeah.
A lot of people were wondering if Kylo's slaughter of Luke's new temple, Grogu gets caught in it. Although he is very good at avoiding purges, so...
Yeah. Yeah. I'm small. I can hide into many crevices. No one will find me.
It's like, oh, this again? Fine. I know what to do.
All right.
Come on!
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with him. I can see him coming, or like, not being a Jedi and coming back to Din.
And just, like, be his, like, sidekick or something.
Yeah, and just get into bounty hunting. I've seen a lot of fan art of, like, Grogu in, like, Mando armor, which is kind of cute.
Oh, okay. Which would
just, like, him in, like, in a little helmet with the ear cut out and stuff for his ears.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I doubt they'd do that, but it's, like, that's a fun little thing.
It's rumored that Grogu is going to have his own lightsaber in Season 3, and that George Lucas is joining the writing and executive producing crew of Season 3.
Okay.
I think they totally screwed over Lucas. He sold them a gold mine, and they just took his treatments for the sequel trilogy and just shit on them. Didn't even use them. How much of his treatments they did use, I don't know. He seems to have made more friends of Filoni and Favreau than... Yeah. I might be wrong. His relationship with Kathleen Kennedy has maybe soured a bit, because...
Mm-hmm.
Like, he said the reasoning why he didn't want to do another trilogy is because him and his new wife just had a new kid, and he's like, well, it takes like 7 to 10 years to do 3 films, and like, I just wanted to spend time with my family, so he sort of retired and sold it to Disney. But it's cool that he's with the writing staff for Season 3, if that's true, because he can sort of mentor them, and he's been on set a number of times.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
He's the maker, man. You gotta...
Yeah, give
show respect to the maker.
Where it's due, right?
Mm-hmm. Whether you hate the prequels or not. Yeah, he's still the guy that thought of it all, so that's a big thing.
So, the final sequence of the episode, the fighting, the Force abilities, the crushing, the beheading, awesome. Yes. I hate that it was Luke. I did not like that it was Luke. Even though it was a cool sequence, and I get it. Like, he takes Grogu, he's gonna go train him. First of all, when it was the X-Wing, I knew it was Luke, and then when it was a green lightsaber, I knew it was Luke for sure.
Yeah.
He took his hood off, and it was Luke. I'm like, fucking Luke, really? Really? They couldn't have done, like, another Jedi that survived the Purge.
It makes sense that it's Luke, though.
I know, but it could have been Ezra or someone like someone new to the audience, or maybe not new, but not as seen as much. And I just thought it was sort of like a cop-out.
Maybe Ezra will be in Season 3.
Maybe. Ahsoka was in this one.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I just thought it was the safe choice. It's like, really?
It was. It was, yeah. But it also makes a lot of sense.
It was a cool sequence for sure. Like, good action-wise. But I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense to me because he's trying to rebuild his Jedi Order, right? So I think he'd be constantly looking out for Force-sensitive anything. And as soon as he feels like, oh, okay, I'm going to go here now. Again, it is kind of a cop-out.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, and it's total fan service. But yeah, I was happy with him.
Now, part of that opinion is how long the sequence took. As much as it was a cool sequence, I thought it was very long. It was like, okay, there's an X-Wing showing up, and it's like, okay, like he's on his way up to the bridge, and like, it's just like Millhouse. It's like, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory? It's like, come on. So maybe if it was edited differently, it's like they don't see the X-Wing. It's like a ship on the radar, and then bam, like the Jedi busts through, fucks up a couple of super troopers. Then it's Luke. That would have been better, in my opinion. But it was just, it was such a long lead up for something that you knew pretty early into the sequence. X-Wing, green saber. It's like, okay, it's Luke. Let's get on with it. All in all, it was a pretty good season finale. It was
For sure. Oh, you know what we didn't touch upon yet?
What's that?
The Darksaber rights.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even write down about that. You're right.
Yeah.
How he has to fight Bo-Katan.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, here, I don't want it. And she's like, nope, can't be like that. And then,
I like how Moff Gideon was so smug about it. He's like,
yeah, he's like, ha, you've got to fight her.
You don't even know your own history, bro.
What an idiot.
Derp. But yeah, so I wonder if they're going to fight. But then somebody said something about, like, marrying her or something like that. If they join forces or something like that, or if they get married or something. I don't know. I could easily see her turning on Mando and like, punch him in the face. Because her face was kind of like that.
Are we going to have to do this now? To go. I didn't want to do this.
Yeah. You could see in her face. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
How awful.
Yeah.
Because I think she's considering it.
Well, at the same time, too, Mando was prepared to write them all off just to get Grogu back as well.
For sure. He didn't give a crap about the Darksaber.
No. So I think that's kind of just the Mandalorian way is to be like, oh, well, we got to get this job done, and I'm going to have to do what I have to do to get it done. So that also is on par for the course of
Season 3, yeah.
Of what they are, too. So, yeah.
So what now? Do they go and take back Mandalore, their home planet? Maybe a good chunk of the third season is him looking over his shoulder for Bo-Katan, if she does come after him for the saber. Who knows? Yeah, I don't really think he cares about the Darksaber and the lore behind it of how it has to be one. To Mando, it's sort of like spilling salt on the table. It's like, throw it over your shoulder. He's like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah.
You and your weird-ass superstitions. So, I don't really think he buys into it that much, but Bo-Katan is like super game for it. Because she knows, she's right?
All in. Yeah, she's all in, so...
It was a great season. Not that season 1 was shitty, but it was better than season 1, and that's what I like.
Oh, for sure.
It kicks it up a notch. Bill Burr came back.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka came in. It was awesome. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I can't wait for season 3.
Oh, yeah. And season 3 does return at the end of this year around Christmas time. And it was great talking to you again. Thanks for joining me on this. It was really fun, and we should do it again when season 3 comes back.
I'm all for it.
Nice, man. Take care. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
You can check me out on Instagram and TikTok at Scott_loves_puns. Puns is with a Z. You can also find me on YouTube, ScottLovesPuns_ASMR. And you can also purchase my audiobook and new comedy EP for only $2 and $1 at swoaudio.bandcamp.com. Thanks for listening and have a good night.